Welcome, spicy ladies. Have you ever met someone whose presence instantly made you feel safe? Not because they said much, but because of the way they noticed you. The kind of person who makes others feel seen, heard, and respected without needing to announce it. That's a Sigma female. And if you've ever met one, chances are you still remember how she made you feel. Her kindness isn't loud. It doesn't come with big displays or fake smiles. It's quiet but powerful. She doesn't force her way into anyone's life, but if you happen to be in her world, she'll treat you with a level of respect and care that feels rare. What makes her different is that her kindness isn't a show. It's not a personality trait she puts on and takes off. It's part of her foundation. She's the type who remembers what you said in passing, the type who checks on you when no one else does, and she'll do it without expecting anything in return. If you're struggling, she won't try to fix you, but she'll sit with you. And that kind of support, that kind of calm, steady presence that stays with you, she's proof that real strength doesn't have to be harsh, that softness doesn't mean weakness, and that in a world full of noise, the quiet ones often carry the deepest kind of love. If you've ever doubted the value of being kind in a cold world, look at her. She's the reminder you didn't know you needed. So, spicy ladies, let's dive into 14 ways Sigma women show their kindness genuinely. Number 1, she doesn't offer kindness for approval. She offers it because it's built into her character. Some people do nice things so they can be praised or seen as the good one in the room. They smile when others are watching. They say the right words when it benefits them. But with a Sigma female, it's completely different. Her kindness doesn't come with strings attached. She doesn't do it to get something back. She does it because that's just who she is. Picture this. You're going through something tough. Maybe your mind is heavy, but you're smiling anyway because life won't stop. Everyone else keeps it moving, but somehow she notices. She doesn't make a scene. She doesn't ask 100 questions. Maybe she sends a simple message or quietly checks in with a look that tells you she actually sees what you're hiding. That's her kind of kindness. Quiet, honest, real. She doesn't need the world to know she helped. She doesn't need applause. Her goodness shows up in ways that don't need attention. If she sees someone struggling to carry something, she steps in. Not to be a hero, just because she knows what it's like to carry too much. And here's the thing, she won't bring it up later. She won't remind you of what she did for you. She just moves on. That's why her kindness hits differently. It's not about her. It's about making things lighter for someone else, even for just a moment. People who've been through their own silent battles tend to recognize pain in others. They don't need you to explain every detail. They just feel it. That's where her kindness comes from. Not from wanting to look good, but from knowing what it's like to hurt and not be helped. So, when she does something kind, it's not a performance. It's not a strategy. It's who she is. And once you experience it, you don't forget it. Because real kindness doesn't need a spotlight. It just needs someone strong enough to live it without needing to be seen. Number 2, she protects others the way no one ever protected her. Some people are kind because they were raised with it. Others are kind because life gave them soft landings. But a Sigma female's kindness was earned. It was built through pain, through abandonment, through experiences where she had to figure things out with no guide, no cushion, and no hand to hold. She knows what it feels like to be unprotected, to look around in the middle of chaos and realize no one is coming. That memory stays with her. It shaped her, but it didn't make her bitter. It made her protective. Now, when she sees someone going through it, whether they say it or not, she shows up. She becomes the person she needed when she was younger. She's the quiet anchor in someone's storm, the voice of reason when everything feels like it's falling apart. She may have built walls for herself, but those walls taught her how to create shelter for others. She's not soft in the way most people define it. Her kindness isn't sugar-coated or wrapped in pretty words. It's bold. It's unshakable. And when she decides to protect you, she means it. Let's say someone tries to disrespect someone close to her. She won't sit back and watch. She steps in not for drama, but because she understands how damaging silence can be. When she sees someone being mistreated, especially someone who can't defend themselves, something fierce rises in her. She'll defend, speak up, cover and guide. Not because she's trying to be a savior, but because she refuses to let others feel what she once did, unseen, unheard, and unguarded. Her kindness isn't gentle music. It's a shield. It's the kind of love that stands in front of the storm and says, "You're not going through this alone." And that kind of protection, that kind of loyalty, you don't forget it because it doesn't just save you. It teaches you how to be strong. Right now, if you are still watching, I hope this video can help you. Your comments motivate me so much, so I can make more videos which you like. So hit that subscribe button and leave me a message. Let's continue. Number 3. She'll show up when no one else does, but don't expect her to announce it. Some people only show up when the spotlight is on. They wait for the applause. They want their kindness to be seen and celebrated. But a Sigma female moves differently. When everything falls apart, when your phone goes silent, when the people who always said, "Call me if you need anything," are nowhere to be found. That's usually when she steps in. But don't expect her to make a big deal out of it. She won't parade in with a grand gesture. She won't post about what she did. In fact, you might not even realize she was behind it until much later, if ever. Let's say you're going through a rough patch. Maybe you lost your job, or you're just mentally drained. Bills are piling up, and you're too tired to explain what's going on. Out of nowhere, someone sends you a gift card, or groceries show up at your door. No note, no message, but somehow it's exactly what you needed. That's her. That's how she operates. Or maybe you're spiraling and no one seems to notice. You haven't been yourself, but you keep pretending everything's fine. She picks up on it. She doesn't pressure you to open up, but she checks in. A simple message, a random call, something small that tells you someone sees you. And then when you're starting to get back on your feet, she quietly fades back. No guilt trip, no emotional debt. She doesn't need a thank you post. She doesn't care if no one ever finds out. Her help isn't about recognition. It's about making sure someone gets through the night a little easier. That's how deep her kindness runs. In a world full of loud gestures and fake concern, her quiet loyalty feels like a lifeline. She won't ask you to remember her, but you will, because when no one else showed up, she did. And that kind of presence never leaves your memory. Number 4. She will never weaponize your vulnerability. Opening up to people is risky. You never really know what they'll do with your truth. Some listen just to use it later. Some pretend to care, then throw your pain back in your face when things go wrong. But a Sigma female doesn't move like that. She sees vulnerability as something sacred, not something to be exploited. If you share something with her in a quiet moment, something you've never told anyone else, it stays with her. And not just in the sense that she won't repeat it. She won't use it to win an argument. She won't twist it to make a point. She won't bring it up months later when emotions run high. Your trust doesn't turn into her leverage. That's because she knows what it feels like to be exposed. She's had her own battles. She's been on the other side of betrayal. And she remembers how deep those wounds cut. That's why she treats your story with care. She doesn't just hear it. She carries it quietly, respectfully. Imagine you confided in her about a mistake you made years ago, something you still regret. You're both in a disagreement one day. Emotions are high. She could easily bring it up and shut you down, but she won't. She'll fight fair. She'll stick to the issue at hand. She'll never throw your past in your face just to win. To her, that would feel like crossing a line you can't uncross. Her kindness shows up in those small, powerful decisions. The choice to protect what you trusted her with. The choice to stay silent when she could easily cause damage. The choice to honor your story even if you're no longer close. That's rare. And that's why people who've opened up to a Sigma female never forget it. Because when she promises to keep your secret safe, she means it. And she never breaks that promise. Number 5. She can be kind even when she's angry. And that's rare. Most people, when they're angry, want to strike back. They say things just to hurt. They push buttons, dig up old wounds, and leave scars that don't fade. But a Sigma female doesn't let her emotions turn her into someone she's not. Even when she's hurt, even when she's disappointed, her kindness still shows up, just in a quieter, more controlled way. Her anger doesn't explode. It doesn't humiliate or destroy. It simply says enough. She can be angry without being cruel. That's rare. That's power. Imagine you've crossed a line with her. Maybe you said something thoughtless, or maybe you betrayed her trust. She won't yell. She won't embarrass you in front of others. What she will do is go quiet, but not to punish you. That silence isn't meant to make you beg. It's not a trap. It's a moment for you to feel the weight of your actions. She wants you to reflect, not suffer. Her silence gives you space, not shame. She sets boundaries, not walls. She steps back, not to push you away forever, but to protect her peace. She's showing you what's okay and what isn't, without turning it into a power play. That takes maturity. That takes restraint. And here's what makes her different. She could tear you apart with everything she knows, but she won't. Even when she's hurt, she chooses grace. Not because she's soft, but because she refuses to become the very thing that hurt her. That's a lesson. That's the kind of kindness that teaches without humiliating. That's the kind of strength that doesn't need revenge to feel powerful. So when a Sigma female is angry, pay attention to how she carries it. She doesn't lash out. She lets the silence speak. And if you're wise, you'll hear everything she's saying without a single word. Because even in her anger, she's still showing you respect. Number 6, she will forgive you even if she doesn't reconnect with you. Some people forgive with conditions. They say it, but they don't really mean it. They wait for the right moment to bring it back up. They keep score, and forgiveness becomes something they use to control the story. A Sigma female forgives differently. If you've wronged her, she might not fight with you. She might not even explain herself. She'll just step back. No drama, no bitterness, no revenge plan. She lets you go not out of pride, but because her peace is more important than holding on to a grudge. What makes her rare is that she can forgive you without needing to reconnect. She doesn't need an apology to make peace within herself. She doesn't chase closure from people who showed her who they really are. She accepts it, learns from it, moves on. And when she says she's let it go, she means it. Not in a fake, I'm fine kind of way, but in the quiet way that proves she refuses to let hatred live in her heart. She knows how heavy that kind of energy is. She knows how it eats away at people. And she's worked too hard on herself to let someone else's mistake take up space in her spirit. Let's say you were close to her once, but you hurt her. You broke a trust or crossed a boundary. She might not hate you. She won't gossip about you. She won't try to ruin your name, but she also won't let you back in. That's not cruelty. That's wisdom. Forgiveness for her isn't about fixing the relationship. It's about freeing herself. She doesn't believe in payback. She believes in peace. And if walking away is what brings her that peace, she won't hesitate. That's the kind of strength most people don't understand. It's not loud. It's not vengeful. It's just her choosing to let go so she can breathe again. And that's something you never forget. Number 7, she's kind because she's seen what cruelty does to people. Kindness doesn't always come from a perfect life. In fact, the people who are the kindest are usually the ones who've seen the worst. That's the Sigma female. She's kind, not because everything's been easy for her, but because she knows exactly how painful life can get. She's been through things she doesn't talk about often. Disappointments that hit deep. Moments where she felt like she was carrying the world alone. Times when she reached out and no one reached back. And through all that, she never let it turn her cold. Her kindness is different because it was built in fire. She knows what it feels like to be overlooked, to be misunderstood, to be treated like she didn't matter. And instead of passing that pain on to others, she made a decision. She became the kind of person she wished she had when she needed support. If she sees someone sitting quietly in the corner, she notices. If someone's trying to hold it together, but barely hanging on, she picks up on it. She knows that people don't always say when they're hurting. So she watches. She listens. She gives without making it a big deal. A kind word, a private check-in, a reminder that someone sees you. She doesn't want anyone around her to feel invisible, because she's felt that too many times. And here's what's powerful. She doesn't wait to be thanked. She doesn't need recognition. Her kindness is quiet, but it changes people. It reaches places loud gestures never could. The truth is she had to heal herself from things most people would break under. And that healing gave her something precious, compassion with depth, empathy that comes from experience, not just sympathy. That's why when she's kind, it hits different, because it comes from someone who knows what it means to be shattered and still chooses to make others feel whole. Number 8, she won't flood you with comfort. You'll get raw truth delivered gently. A Sigma female won't smother you with soft words just to make you feel better. That's not how she operates. If you're wrong, she'll tell you. If you're avoiding something that needs to be faced, she'll bring it up. But here's the difference. She does it in a way that doesn't leave you feeling attacked or broken. She tells the truth with care, with respect, and with the kind of calm that makes it easier to hear, even if it stings a little. Let's say you're stuck in a job that's slowly draining you and you keep making excuses about staying. Most people might nod along, tell you it's okay, and avoid the hard conversation. She won't. She'll look at you and say something like, you know you're settling. You deserve better, but you're scared. And that's not who you are. It won't be loud. It won't be dramatic, but it'll hit you right where it needs to. Not to hurt you, but to wake you up. She sees through excuses, even the ones you believe yourself. And because she actually cares, she won't let you stay in the comfort of denial. Her kindness is giving you the truth when you need it the most. And that's rare. She's the one who will tell her friend he's not good for you. You know that. And the longer you stay, the more of yourself you're losing. Not because she wants to control anyone's life, but because silence would feel like betrayal. The way she speaks to people is intentional. She doesn't aim to break your spirit. She aims to pull you out of the fog. That's her form of love. That's her brand of kindness. It's not sugar. It's nourishment. The kind that helps you grow even when it's hard to swallow. And once you've heard truth like that from someone like her, it changes you. It sticks. Number 9, she won't judge your wounds, even the ones that still bleed. Most people get uncomfortable when they see pain they can't fix. They rush to offer advice. They try to patch it up with feel-good words or act like everything will be fine. Not because they're cruel, but because they don't know how to just be with someone's hurt. But a Sigma female doesn't run from your pain. She doesn't shrink when things get heavy. She doesn't flinch when you show her the parts of yourself that are still bleeding. She doesn't see you as broken. She sees you as human. If you're in a dark place and you finally open up to her, she won't interrupt you. She won't try to wrap your pain in quick fixes. She just listens fully with no judgment in her eyes. No pity in her voice, just presence. The kind of presence that says, I'm not scared of this. You don't have to hide it from me. She's been there herself. She knows what it feels like to be falling apart and still expected to hold it together. That's why she doesn't rush you. She understands that healing isn't always neat or quick. Sometimes it's messy. Sometimes it takes time. And she respects that. You could tell her your worst moment, the thing you're most ashamed of, and she wouldn't look at you any differently. She sees pain as part of the journey, not a stain on your character. She doesn't expect perfection. She values honesty over appearances. Being around her feels safe. You don't have to pretend. You don't have to clean up your emotions or explain every tear. She won't try to solve you. She'll simply stay with you until you're strong enough to take the next step. And sometimes that's the greatest kind of kindness. Not the words, not the solutions, just the quiet strength of someone who says, I see your pain. I'm not afraid of it and I'm not leaving. Number 10, she never humiliates, even when she holds the power to. Some people use what they know as a weapon. The moment they feel slighted, they fire back with everything they've stored up. The secrets, the flaws, the insecurities you once trusted them with just to feel powerful for a moment. But a Sigma female never moves like that. She might know more than she says. She might pick up on things others miss. She may even hold the upper hand in knowledge, insight, or experience, but she never uses it to humiliate anyone. That's not her style. That's not her aim. Imagine being in a disagreement with her. She has every piece of the puzzle. She could expose you, embarrass you, tear you apart in seconds. But she doesn't, because her goal is never to crush anyone's spirit. Even when she's angry, she holds back. Not because she's weak, but because she's wise. That's strength most people don't understand. The kind that chooses dignity over dominance. The kind that could hit below the belt, but chooses not to. It's easy to belittle someone when you know their weaknesses. It takes real character to hold that power and still choose to respect them. Let's say someone makes a mistake in front of her, something small, maybe even embarrassing. She doesn't make a show of it. She doesn't roll her eyes or make cutting remarks. She lets it pass, not because she didn't notice, but because she values people more than moments of superiority. That's what makes her different. She doesn't just speak kindly, she thinks kindly even in silence. Her kindness is rooted in self-control. It's laced with quiet class. She protects your dignity even when you don't see it, even when you don't deserve it. And that leaves a lasting impression. Because in a world where so many are quick to tear others down just to feel tall, a Sigma female's grace becomes unforgettable. She doesn't need to prove she's better. She just proves she's solid. Number 11. She has no need to compete, so she lifts others without hesitation. There's something powerful about a woman who doesn't see other people as competition. A Sigma female knows exactly who she is, and because of that, she doesn't get rattled when someone else shines. She doesn't feel the need to prove anything. She doesn't shrink or compare. Instead, she celebrates. She claps when others win genuinely with no fake smiles, no backhanded compliments, no silent envy. She gives people their moment, not because it's expected, but because she truly believes someone else's success doesn't take anything away from her. You could be in the same field as her, chasing similar goals, and she'll still push you forward. She'll recommend you when opportunities come up. She'll share your work. She'll give credit where it's due. And she won't do it to look good or play nice. She'll do it because she's secure. She doesn't need to be the loudest in the room. She doesn't walk around announcing her achievements. Most of the time, you'll find out what she's accomplished from someone else, not from her. Because her worth isn't measured by applause or validation. It comes from within. Let's say you land something big, maybe a promotion, a creative project, or a personal milestone. She'll be the first one to say, "You deserve that." No hesitation, no tension, just support. That's rare because so many people clap with hidden agendas. They cheer until they feel left behind, but not her. She rises on her own path and lets others do the same. Her self-worth doesn't come from comparison. That's why she's able to lift others without feeling smaller. That's why people around her feel safe to grow. She's not competing. She's rooting for you. And that kind of energy, it changes a room. It changes people. Because when you meet someone who claps for others with her whole heart, you realize that real confidence is never loud. It simply is. Number 12, kindness isn't always natural. For some people, especially those who've been through a lot, it's a choice they make every single day. That's what makes a Sigma female different. Her kindness doesn't come from naivety. It comes from strength, from choosing peace over ego, even when her pride wants to react. She's the type of woman who could clap back, shut people down, prove her point, and walk away with the last word. She's smart enough, sharp enough, but she doesn't take that route, not because she can't, but because she knows it's empty. She knows the damage it leaves behind, and she refuses to become someone she won't respect in the mirror. She's had moments where she was pushed, where people disrespected her, took her for granted, misread her calmness as weakness, and still she didn't return the energy. Not because she didn't feel the anger, but because she knew it wasn't worth carrying. That takes courage most people don't recognize. We live in a world that rewards revenge, mockery, and clapbacks. A world where ego runs wild. But she made peace her priority. Not silence, not passivity. Peace. The kind that says, "I'm not lowering myself just to prove a point." She still speaks up. She sets boundaries. She protects her space. But she does it without venom, without drama. Her softness isn't a costume. It's a decision. And it's one she's earned the hard way. That's why her kindness feels so different. It's not sugary or fake. It's grounded. It's patient. And it's controlled. Every time she chooses not to argue with someone who's clearly trying to provoke her, every time she walks away instead of getting dragged into chaos, she's proving that being kind in a bitter world is not weakness. It's discipline. It's self-mastery. It's strength wrapped in grace. And the truth is, people remember that kind of softness because it doesn't just calm the room, it changes it. Number 13. She doesn't forgive because it's easy. She forgives because she refuses to rot. Forgiveness sounds simple until you're the one holding the pain. Most people talk about letting go, but deep down they're still carrying the weight, still replaying what happened, still hoping the other person feels the regret they never showed. But a Sigma female forgives differently. She doesn't forgive because she's soft or because she wants to play the bigger person. She forgives because she understands what bitterness does to the soul. She's too wise to let hate rot her from the inside out. She's been through betrayal, disrespect, moments that could have turned her cold. And maybe for a while they did. Maybe she held on to the anger thinking it protected her. But she learned that carrying hate doesn't shield you. It eats at you slowly, quietly. And she refuses to give anyone that kind of power over her peace. So she forgives, not because the other person deserves it, but because she deserves to move on. She doesn't want to replay the story in her head 100 times. She doesn't want her joy tied to someone else's apology. She lets go not to forget, but to be free. It's not an easy process. She wrestles with it. She questions it. But in the end, she always chooses freedom over resentment. And here's what makes her different. Forgiving doesn't mean she lets people back in. She can forgive you with her whole heart and still keep her distance. She can wish you well without inviting you back into her life. That's not coldness. That's wisdom. She knows her peace is expensive. She's not going to trade it for grudges that go nowhere. So when she forgives, it's not weakness. It's strength in its purest form because it takes real power to say, "You no longer control how I feel. I'm done carrying this weight." That's her. That's why her forgiveness feels like freedom. Not just for others, but for herself. Number 14. She won't make you dependent on her. She'll teach you to stand. There's a big difference between helping someone and making them dependent on you. A Sigma female knows that. That's why her kindness isn't about rescuing people. It's about showing them their own strength. She's the kind of person who will be there when you're at your lowest. She'll support you, guide you, and remind you of what you're capable of. But she won't carry you forever. She doesn't want anyone leaning on her like a crutch. That's not real growth. That's quiet control, and that's never her intention. Her goal is to see you rise, not just today, but long after she's gone. So, instead of solving every problem for you, she helps you see that you can solve it yourself. Instead of fixing your mess, she hands you the tools and stands beside you while you figure it out. That's where her power lies. Imagine you're stuck in a cycle, always doubting yourself, always second-guessing your choices. Most people would just say, "Don't worry, I'll take care of it." But she'll ask, "What's stopping you from handling it yourself?" Not to push you away, but to wake something up inside you. She believes in self-reliance because that's how she survived. No one handed her a lifeline. She had to build her own. And now, instead of creating dependence, she creates strength in others. She'll cheer for you, but she won't cuddle you. She'll show up, but she won't let you give up on yourself. Her kindness is not about making life easy. It's about helping you become someone who can handle the hard stuff with your head high. And that's why her support is unforgettable. It doesn't just feel good in the moment. It leaves you better, stronger, and more capable than you were before. Because the greatest kindness isn't doing everything for you. It's showing you that you can do it yourself. What does real kindness look like when no one's watching? That's the question you start to ask after crossing paths with a Sigma female. Because her kindness doesn't come dressed in performance. It doesn't wait for attention or applause. It's woven into how she lives, how she listens, how she treats people when they're at their lowest. She's kind not because life has been gentle with her, but because she knows how hard it can get. She's kind because she remembers what it felt like to go through things alone, because she knows what silence can do, and because she promised herself that if she ever got strong enough, she'd use that strength to make someone else's load feel lighter. You may not always notice her at first, but if she decides to give you her time, her energy, or her presence, understand what that means. It means she sees something in you. And when a Sigma female sees you, she really sees you. Her kindness is layered. It's quiet, but it's fierce. It's patient, but it doesn't play small. It holds space without asking for anything in return. That kind of kindness doesn't just help you, it teaches you. It reminds you that being kind doesn't mean being weak. It means being brave enough to care in a world that often rewards the opposite. So, if you're someone who's been through pain, who's felt invisible, who's questioned your worth, take heart. You're not alone. And there are people like her out there. The kind of people who've seen darkness and still choose to carry light. Let her remind you that softness is not a flaw. It's a decision. And it's one of the most powerful ones you'll ever make. Stay kind. Stay real. And when in doubt, be the kind of person who helps others breathe easier, just like she does. Stay true to yourself. To all the spicy ladies make life beautiful, thank you for watching and God bless.